This is the Clark Connection Podcast, your weekly dose of inspiration and power. We'll dive deep into the stories and strategies that ignite personal growth and entrepreneurial fire. Join us as we empower you to take control, level up your leadership, and build the life you deserve. Get ready to rise, to thrive, and to finally become the leader of your own destiny. Let's go. Welcome to the Clark Connection Podcast, where we dive deep into stories of leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers who are making a lasting impact. I'm your host, Aaron Clark, aka The Coach. And today, I'm joined by a dynamic leader who has traveled an unconventional yet inspiring path from the casino floors to the C-suite. Matt Chinn, the COO of UNISA, brings a wealth of insight on what it truly means to lead with vision, empower others, and stay committed to lifelong learning. In our conversation, Matt shares how he transitioned into the student loan servicing, the leadership lessons he's learned through managing teams, and why mentorship and relationships are the cornerstones of lasting success. Plus, he drops some powerful book recommendations for anyone on a journey of personal and professional growth. Now, before we dive in, gotta give a big thanks and a shout out to our premier sponsors, Vicki Hubbard with Hubbard Flooring Studios. Vicki and her team are masters at transforming spaces, laying down foundations of beauty and strength, just like the foundations we build in leadership. Whether you're looking to refresh your home or reimagine your workspace, Hubbard Flooring Studios has you covered from the ground up. Visit them at their physical location on Boylan Avenue in Baton Rouge, or give them a call at 225-924-1582, or go explore their amazing work at hubbardflooringstudio.com. Remember, great leadership starts with a strong foundation, and Vicki and her team know exactly how to set that in place. Also want to shout out our other sponsors, Wayne with 7K Metal Associates. See him for all your silver and gold needs. Bobbie with the Comfy Quest LLC, your destination for holistic healing and craniosacral therapy. Andrew with Automate Integrate Professional Services, bringing ease and efficiency to your business. Joseph with Landscape King, crafting beautiful outdoor spaces 1 yard at a time. And CNJ Embroidery, custom designs that make your brand pop. We're so grateful for all of their support. And guys, hit them up. Let them know that Coach Clark sent you. And they have a special deal for you if you mention my name. Also, if you've got questions or just want to connect, click the link in the show notes. Fill out a quick form. I'd love to hear from you. And let's bring up Matt. And so, currently he's serving as a COO of UNISA, and he's been there since 2009. Has been through multiple roles, worked his way up to where he is right now. And then prior to that, he was a supervisor at a casino. And so, whether you're a seasoned leader or just starting on your developmental journey, this episode is packed with practical wisdom that you do not want to miss. Let's go ahead and dive in. Man, and welcome to the show, Matt.
Hey, Aaron, great to be here.
Yeah, glad you were able to hop on, spend a little time with us, talk some leadership, personal development, all that great stuff. But just got done announcing COO of UNISA. What is UNISA?
Aaron, UNISA, we are a student loan servicer. So we are helping schools with their cash management, in school and out of school, monthly payments, auto pays. We help schools set up custom payment plans, in-house financing, private loan programs. And so we're the step before a third-party collection agency. So we're considered a student loan servicer. and we help a number of schools partner with the school first and then work with their students regarding whatever type of monthly payment arrangement in and or out of school that it is. But that's what we do.
All right. So I have been saying this wrong. That it's UNISA, not.
UNISA, yes.
Oh, I've been saying UNISA because I know we've partnered with y'all for about 2 or 3 years now.
It's been a while. Time's flying. It's been amazing. We do your in school and out of school collections, and I courted you guys for probably over a decade. So I was thrilled when we partnered together.
I was going to say the old Delta College. We could be a little bit quite the slippery one. We kind of wiggle and
right,
what have you.
I was pumped. I was excited when we partnered together, and it's been great. And it was very cool connecting with you when we recently did.
Yes. And so, yeah, it is a pretty cool, and I like that aspect of it all right, they're in school, boom. They know you guys are going to be reaching out to them, and I love it. I don't have to figure out his stuff working right wherever it's.
Yep. It's a lot. It's a handful. It's a lot to manage. Some schools do it in-house and do a good job or decent job. But nowadays with the regulatory environment, compliance, landscape, I mean, there is so much you should be doing or need to be doing as far as even setting up, originating, even a payment plan. And then from there, all the reminders, everything that's required to help a student, consistently providing courtesy reminders. Here's what you committed to. Here's your due date. Here's your monthly amount. So it is a lot. And that's where we've kind of come in to help a lot of schools is let us help you automate this, do a good job, be compliant, and really help students increase your collections and help your students remember what their obligation is.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, especially now with all of the student loans now going back into repayment, having guys like you guys that helps. It helps both parties involved, the school and the student, to remember. Hey,
no doubt, 100%. And that's been a challenge. What everything like we do for Delta College, for example, these are this is in-house financing, payment plans, private loans, but all the time, consistently ongoing since COVID. It's, well, wait, I'm good, right? My federal loan's on pause. Yet maybe, but not your private loan or your payment plan. So that's literally something we've been, advising students on nonstop for many years. Like, hey, this isn't private. This is separate. It's between you and your school. It may not be on hold. And, we want you to know that it's different and you still may be obligated to pay monthly.
Yeah. But it is good to be able to have that. And so, all right, but obviously nobody wakes up in the morning and says, in high school, I want to go into student
loan servicing.
Yeah. How did you end up there?
Such a crazy ride and journey for me, Aaron. I started out actually in the casino hotel industry, which was not planned. I was a business major, marketing and management. My roommates were hotel and restaurant guys. And our school, Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff, Arizona, they had a great program for that. And long story short, they were going to their career day. They said, hey, you want to join? It's open to business majors. And I connected with a hotel casino company. I got into a really cool management program. They called it Executive Development Program, EDP. So I did that for about 3 years. It was a ball. I had so much fun. I got to learn all areas of the casino hotel and kind of where I wanted to thought I could fit in there and do well and start a career. And then I actually this is kind of a family friend, this company I work for now, UNISA. The owner's kids was friends with my younger brothers. And so I get a call, hey, Matt, you know anything about accounting software? And, I said, hey, I don't, but I'm a quick learner and I'd love to learn more about it. And so that's how I got brought on in sales, and I was able to bring some of my management and leadership experience to help the company to help manage and lead. And it's been 16 years. It's been one of the greatest joys of my life to work in higher education, work with schools across the country, folks like yourself. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's helping people. It's giving people an opportunity to change their lives, help students, help our school partners. So it was definitely not planned at all, but so thrilled it happened that way.
Oh, absolutely. And so kind of going back to when you said the executive development program at the casino. So you meet up with these guys at career day, and what were their requirements for that? Like, hey, we're going to help this person. We're picking him now to go through our development program.
Honestly, it's something I'm really proud of. We were doing these very brief interviews on site, like at career day. Well, hey, let us see your resume. Let's have a really quick kind of chat and interview, 5 minutes or less. And I was competing against the hotel and restaurant folks. And I thought, this is probably a long shot, but I literally hit it off with them. Again, I didn't know anything about hotel and restaurant. I just was in the business programs, but they liked me, I think. And it's my grandpa, who I forever look up to, and he was a sales guy. I looked up to him, and he always told me, just get them to like you. Like that's what you got to do. Get them to like you. And I did. I kind of connected with them, and next thing you know, they said, "Hey, we're really interested. We want to have you out for, final interviews," which was at a casino property. It was intense. It was, a big panel of executives at that time. And I kind of did the same thing there. I went in, got them to like me, connected with them. If I didn't know all the questions and answers regarding hotel and restaurant specific items, but I kind of did my best and said, "Hey, I'm a quick learner," and I got that offer, and it was a pretty selective thing. There was only a few folks, only two from my university that were selected, but such a cool program, and literally was able to, work in hotel operations, casino, security, food and beverage, IT, sales, marketing, casino hosting, you name it. So literally the goal was to, hey, where do you think you can fit in our organization and make a career of this? But I was able to work alongside the supervisors, the managers, the directors, the VPs, and just kind of observe them quickly, kind of in a crash course of, here's how we lead, here's how we manage. Come be part of our huddles, our meetings. So it was really a cool thing for me, and I'm very grateful.
That sounds like it, and it's so cool that you said, you got to get in there, and all right, you got to experience the full gambit of everything.
Yep.
And so I'm sure you got to see, all right, so you're walking around with this supervisor, and you're like, I do not want to do what they
Right. Right.
You saw some that you were like, I want to do what
I could
they
do that.
do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So things that stood out, let's have,
Sure.
like, what was it that stood out that some that did well? And then what were some things that you saw where you were like, good night, how are they doing, getting away with doing that? Or I would never do that.
Right. It, hotel and food and beverage were tough for me, because food and beverage, for sure, it was fast-paced casino environments. I was helping the managers and leaders, but I was also working the front line. And so it was, I literally cooked a few times as well, which did not go well. It was so fast-paced for me, and the station I was on, it was just like I kind of had to say, hey, I think I'm holding everything up here. I can't keep up, you know. But I'm a sales and marketing guy. I kind of fell in love with the sales, like the corporate hotel event sales, and then there was casino hosting, which is where I ended up. But that was basically, catering to the clientele, the gamblers, the high rollers, and so that's where I kind of found my niche to say, hey, this is kind of neat, because this is kind of, it was like sales, and I was building relationships with people and working with the gamblers, and truly you built a relationship with them. A lot of these markets I worked in, there was a dozen casinos or a half dozen casinos, and they could go anywhere, but they literally, built a relationship with you. They knew I would take care of them, anything they needed, whether it was a reservation, a nice hotel room, a suite. But even beyond that, it was like the personal connection. And they said, "Hey, I'm coming up this weekend. I want to come see you. Let's, meet up, visit." And so that's where I ended up. That's where I thought, I could see myself doing this. This is great. This is building relationships with people. And so that's where I ended up, casino hosting.
Gotcha. And so I guess kind of what more I was asking is like, maybe what were some things that you saw those supervisors you got to work with and learn from? What were things that you saw them do well? And then things so like that you said, I will never do that. Cause like I had one, like a coach I worked under that he never addressed an issue. So if there was like, so you'd be like, we'll talk about that in 4 or 5 days. And you're like,
Yep. Great question. Early on working in human resources, met a great individual, the director, and he was very brief and concise about it. I provide the resources to my team needed to be successful. And he didn't micromanage, he empowered them, he trained them, and he let them, do their job without micromanaging them. And I really like that style. And personally for me, I never like to be micromanaged. I like to be empowered. So I definitely saw that end of the spectrum. I saw, managers and leaders that were controlling, they were micromanaging. It was kind of a negative or tense environment or situation for the team members. So from my perspective, I loved seeing those leaders that empowered their team, didn't micromanage, but they were there. They were helping. They were working the front line, and that's kind of something that I adopted. Like I said, that's the kind of manager and leader I want to be. I want to lead by example. I want to empower my team. I don't want to have to micromanage them or them to feel micromanaged. But I'd say that's what stood out to me the most.
now, and that's such a good point too. The being able to empower others to do their job. That should be what our job is as the leader. That for me to help
I think
you
so.
do your job, give you the ability and the skills to do their job. So
Right?
all those, because I talked to somebody else about that who is in HR, and I was making the joke like, "Oh man, hey, watch what you say. It's no fun, police." But
Right. And
they
even
were
and
like,
even if you make a mistake though, like I think that's a great, hey, look, we all might make a mistake, but to give your team the opportunity to use their best judgment, to work using the knowledge training that they have. And hey, if we make a mistake, we'll learn from it. We'll correct it. We'll try not to do it again. For me, that's always been the way to do it. And to work the front line with your team, to roll up your sleeves, not show them, hey, I want to do this with you. I want to show you how we believe it should be done. Let's do it together. Let me show you. I want to work the front line with you. And I think that buy-in, I saw that in the casino hotel. That was the tightest teams where they said, "Hey, I know my manager's willing to help work, and if we're short-staffed, if we have a situation where we need more help, my manager will come down and work with us and get through the situation."
yeah, no doubt. And hey, guys, if have enjoyed what you've heard so far, look, give a little like, subscribe, follow the show. That show a little love to Matt. Then why don't you drop the name of your favorite boss or supervisor down below? And and so Matt, that they kind of, I hate to say shifting gears, but not really shifting gears. So taking what you learned that at the casino, how did you apply that to working at UNISA?
So I had that experience. I was actually able to, I mentioned, get into casino hosting. I was in Nevada, Reno, Nevada, and the recession hit. There was new casinos opening up in California, which both of those items hit our property pretty hard. But I ended up getting into a management role within that department. We had layoffs. I survived, And then I was asked, hey, will you be the new leader of this team? I was young, I was 25 years old, but I was able to manage a small team of 7 folks. And it was only for about a year and a half before I made the switch. But that really gave me this tremendous experience, confidence, where I was actually managing and leading people myself for the first time. And so I brought that experience with me. You pivot to higher education loan servicing, UNISA. It's call center environments, in and outbound calling, emailing, corresponding with schools, with students. But I was able to bring that experience with me. And like I mentioned, really just I like to motivate people, be a positive influencer, lead by example, really get to know my team personally, to really make it feel like, hey, I might be your manager, your boss, but I want to get to know you on a personal level. I want to help you meet your career goals if you have them, short or long term. But I want you to have the resources you need to be successful. What one of the early lessons I learned, and so that was a huge help for me as I moved over to higher education.
No, and that take any leadership role that you get where somebody gives you and says, "All right, we're going to trust you to make that happen," is it's exciting and scary all at the same time, because you had 7 people that are like, "All right,
Very
what
well.
you doing?"
And I was young. Believe me, I was, somewhere saying, what does this guy know? He doesn't have the experience. But again, I communicated. I asked for their buy-in and support. I led by example. I told them, hey, we're gonna work the front line together and get everything figured out and ironed out. If is there something we can improve on? Is there something you'd like changed or enhanced? And after a short while, they said, gosh, this he's really trying to help, and he's not just managing or micromanaging. He's actually trying to help us out here. And I think that went a long way.
And it does. And I think that's one that's important for us as leaders, to stay connected with that front line, those men and women who are out there that in the daily grind, because you and I are so far disconnected from the day-to-day operations inside of what they do, that when there's an issue, I don't know how to fix their problem. But oftentimes they've got a lot of good ideas, and it's usually our job to make to call the shot, whatever it is. But if you get input, phew, that's golden.
Yep. We in the casino, there was VIP representatives, and then there was casino hosts. And essentially we kind of all did the same thing, but we were, casino host was kind of a little higher, but with bigger title. And I actually changed the VIP representative's title to VIP hosts, because we were a small team. We needed all the help we could get. And and they said, gosh, we're doing kind of similar work here. We want to be a host. We'd like that title. That would mean the world to us. And so we made that change, and they were thrilled. They were pumped to have that new title and say, gosh, thanks for recognizing us for essentially helping the team doing the same work we all do. But that was one thing that was the casino hosts weren't too pumped about it, but the VIP representatives were thrilled. But we all kind of worked out. We were a small staff and said, hey, we got to make this work for everybody, get through this challenging time with a short staff, and hopefully grow and staff up in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you could go back and go talk to 25-year-old Matt, like, what would be one thing that you would tell him as he moved into that new leadership role?
I honestly I had some great mentors. I was fortunate because I had gone through that program. Um, but I would say maybe don't worry as much. I guess I've kind of learned that as years have gone on, kind of sweating the small stuff, or just worrying about things, within the department, within management. But maybe just to give myself a little bit more confidence to say, hey, you're gonna figure this out, work it out. Don't worry so much, even though you're not coming in with experience. But I thankfully had some folks there helping me, guiding me on the way, on the fly, giving me tips to say, hey, meet with your team, hold the group meetings, hold one-on-ones. get to know them, to check in with them constant, often, frequently. So I kind of lucked out, but I think that's good advice though to our folks starting out. Don't worry too much. Try not to worry as much as you do.
Well, I mean, it's not like it solves anything, anyways.
Right. Yeah.
As the great poet Van Wilder once said, worrying's like a rocking chair. Gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere.
Well said.
But that is, and I think that's the key too, as I've had a lot of talks with leaders throughout my time doing the podcast, is a lot are like, man, I would go back and tell them, be confident, have the confidence to go do this, man. You can do it.
And enjoy it, and enjoy it, and take pride in the opportunity. And yeah, like you said, have some confidence. You got the opportunity, the role. So, make it happen.
Yeah. That was that. And I love that with any of the, especially young leaders that I get to work with, and they're, all right, I got to go make a decision. And I tell them, all right, cool. So there's no consequences to this. You ready? I'm going to count to 3. You make the decision. 1, 2, 3. And it's like, no, seriously. Yeah. Tell the first thing that comes to mind. We're going to do that.
You got to make it. Right.
I mean, and they hadn't once said something so crazy that I'm like, right. Yeah, don't do that, whatever you do. But a lot of it, it's like, no, that's probably what most of us experienced leaders would do. Go do that.
Yep.
But, so, I mean, it's kind of like changing your answers on the test. Your first one's usually right. Go with it.
Yeah, go with your gut. Mm-hmm. Right? Can't go wrong there.
No, I'll say, except for whenever you go to the buffet at the casino. Don't go with your gut.
Right. We had all you could eat lobster. That was a bad situation.
Oh, man. So you have to wheel me out.
Yeah, literally, yes.
Dang. Yeah, that's all. I can't even do a buffet no more, man.
Yeah. Same.
It's like, oh, it's $50? Heck yeah. I eat probably $10 worth of food. I ain't doing it no more.
Right.
No more. Not worth it.
Right.
It is if you have a bus full of teenage boys, but
there you go.
Not for us guys anymore. And so, but kind of as you're working, you're growing, you're working on yourself, what are some things that you do to keep yourself sharp as a leader?
Definitely. I think just continuously educating myself, whether it's podcasts like this, webinars, conferences, a lot of the conferences we go to now in the higher ed circuit, they'll do kind of good sessions on this, professional development, effective management, good communication skills. So I'm always trying to hear good creative ideas. We've recently expanded and grown our team and brought on some seasoned folks from with a lot of good experience. So I love just picking their brains, communicating with them, what worked in your prior student loan servicing environment, your call center, what was helpful, what was successful. So I really like, constantly chatting with folks, our peers, our mentors out in higher ed, other colleges and universities. What's working for you? How are you keeping folks motivated? How are you keeping staff employed and happy, and keeping attrition low? So that's typically how I do it. I talk to our peers. I'm out there at conferences, on webinars, hearing what the latest and greatest is. How about you, Aaron?
I just mostly talk to myself. I've got all the answers up here, and no. So mine, a lot of recently has been, like you said, with going to the masterminds, connecting with, networking other people. One that recent has been big for me is I've joined. It's called the Christian Businessmen of Baton Rouge, and so we meet weekly for 6:30 a.m. Bible study on Wednesdays. And so I mean that's like, oof, that's tiring. But I was like, I'm gonna get up and either go work out or something. why not go here and meet with a bunch of other guys that,
Fantastic. Good for
even
you.
though they're in different industries, we're still able to learn and like, hey, I was having this issue. What would you
Yep.
guys do?
Yep.
Business is business.
Yep. I've even done that too, like you said, with friends or neighbors, or we gather with all different industries, sectors. But like you said, hey, I, you know, I had this situation without giving them any big specifics. But how would you deal with it? Have you ever ran into that? And I've actually done that too with friends or other my good buddies that are running companies or in management roles, and reach out. How would you handle a situation like this? So definitely our peers can be huge.
Right. And then I think like what you said, I've got several good mentors. I think that's crucial for every single, if you want to be successful, you need a coach. Like, I mean, you do. I mean, if anybody that disagrees with me, that would you agree that or disagree that Michael Jordan is not the best competitor ever? They forget basketball player. He's the greatest competitor ever. That he had a coach. He had several coaches.
Hmm.
Come on now. Hey, Michael Jordan not too good for that. Are you and I not too good for that?
No, I don't think so. No doubt.
Um, but I think where we mess up with that is oftentimes like I think, all right, so I'm trying to grow in business, so I need somebody like Bill Gates to mentor me, that or Jeff Bezos. I need one of the. I'm not even remotely close to their level. Like we're not on the same level at all. But they have several other people around Baton Rouge that have been running their business for 10, 15, 20 years that are looking for somebody like me to mentor. And then in the same stance, I should be turning around and having other people that I mentor because that I've got experience and knowledge that I can pass along to somebody who's just starting out or even 5, 10 years in. So I think that's another huge one is just having a mentor that I go and talk to, which I mean, yeah, it's not much different than a friend, but they're usually a little bit more experienced. So I might go be like, hey, let's go out and party this weekend. Like, let's go to the movies. Let's go do it. I'm not doing that with my mentor. I'm that or the people that I mentor. So I mean, I think that's a crucial one. When you said that earlier, I was like, well, I got to make sure I go back to the mentors. Huge, huge, huge. And so as we're kind of starting to wind down a little bit, one thing we're already on that personal growth. Um, so I believe all leaders are readers, but not all readers are leaders. Because I mean, as a leader, you got to be looking to learn. You're constantly looking to learn and grow. What would you say is a book or books that you would recommend all leaders they read?
These are more like inspiring sales books, but I started with them. I still love them. Greatest Salesman in the World and
Oh,
The
fantastic book.
Alchemist. Did you ever read either of those?
I read the Greatest Salesman. I have not read the Alchemist. I have not
Yep.
done that.
But it's following your gut, your intuition, mastering your craft, your sales technique, um, positive attitude, positive energy. I just feel all those things can go so far. And I feel like, in my experience, just having that positive energy, that being able to communicate with people, talk to them, getting them to like me, that that was kind of how I was able to grow to even get to the opportunity for a manager or leader role. But I really like those, and those are good, and they're pretty short reads. You can kind of fly through them if you get into it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I remember the Greatest Salesman in the World being relatively short, but it was so good. Just how it talked about knowing your product, like you said, and finding a friend and doing stuff for people. And
Mm-hmm.
that's been that's probably been about 8 to 10 years since I read it.
Yeah.
But also had a cool story going along with it, and then how how not only he held those secrets until he found the right person to pass them along to.
Mm-hmm.
So that one was good. Now, The Alchemist. Now, what's that one about?
They're both very similar vibe and message and story, and kind of gets you pumped up to do well in sales, do well in your role, follow your heart, your gut, have good energy, good positivity. So very similar.
All right. So it goes through and says, all right, get ready to get told no. Got it. Get your no therapy, as my buddy
Right.
Steve used to say. But I mean, so I've heard somebody once, I thought this was cool. They always said, they get a no, gotta go. Get a yes, don't rest. But you just got that. You got to go through the nose, and not just sales, but in leadership. I mean, life is sales. So anybody who says
In
they
life,
can't,
yes. Learn from them, keep moving on, right?
mm-hmm. I mean, all sales is education. I mean, we went through a sales process of booking the time for you getting on the podcast.
Right, exactly.
And I was about to say, I think you weren't even able to get on the first time I'd asked you, and I was like, I mean, I could have went home and cried about it, but I didn't.
Right. Try again.
Just try again. You could have went home and cried after 10 years of Delta College telling you no.
Right. No, and I didn't. And I stuck around, I swear. And that is a true success story. Literally, I hung around for a decade. And one day, hey Matt, we're ready. We're finally ready. Let's do this. I almost couldn't believe it.
I'll say, did you like?
Yeah.
It's the right person?
Yeah, really? Really? Okay. You sure?
Talk them out of it.
Right.
And so that, what about that maybe like something you either currently finished or are currently reading?
Not management or leadership or sales related. Big fan of the Shawshank Redemption movie. That's based on a novella by Stephen King. So I picked that up, and that's a short one too. It's got to be less than 100 pages, but that's called the novella Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. And that's cool because I love that movie. And so, it's slightly
It might be
different.
the best ever.
Yeah. You've seen the flick, right?
Oh yeah, dude. It's
100 times. Yeah.
I mean, it never gets old. Like,
Right.
get away, come on, Andy, you're gonna do it this time. Don't go on and make it this time.
Right.
Like, you know it's the same.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's a good one. That's a good one. And so last question I like to ask everybody. What's one thing I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
I remember this from one of my first interviews back in the day, and I had never prepped for this. I thought it was a cool basic question. What's one word you would use to describe yourself?
So what's one word you would use to describe yourself?
Tenacious. And I got it on my business card holder here. After that experience, I kind of froze. I go, man, that's a great question. And I go, geez, I haven't been asked that yet. That's a really good one. And then ever since after that, I said, I got to come up with something sharp and remember that. And I like that question.
No, that is good. And so just for those that don't know, what is tenacious?
Non-stopping, proceeding, forever trying and never giving up and working hard.
Yeah. No, and definitely that's one thing you need to be in leadership, is tenacious. And so, Matt, if anybody's looking to connect with you or get in touch with you, how do the fine folks reach you?
Absolutely. I'm here to help in any way, guys. Hope all you leaders can be inspired and, take the leap, go for it, be a good manager, be a good leader, anything student loan servicing, higher education, payment plan related. You can reach me at Matt, MATT, Chinn, CHINN, at unisainc.com, UNISAINC.com. And I'd love to connect with you.
And that's going to be down in the description, guys. So don't panic. Don't like, oh no, get them. It's going to be down there. All you got to do is copy and paste or just click and hold and you can get in touch with Matt. So Matt, I appreciate you hopping on here, sharing your story and taking some time with us. That we'll definitely have to do this again.
Thanks, Aaron. Best to you. You're the best, man.
I'll say my pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
What an incredible conversation with Matt. A true example of how leadership, adaptability, and a heart for people can shape a successful journey. From the casino floor to the COO seat at UNISA, Matt reminded us that leadership isn't about control. It's about empowering others, staying curious, and never losing sight of the relationship that drive results. And so, want to get up and share with you my top 5 takeaways from today's episode. And those of you watching that on YouTube, Spotify, it is up on the screen. And so, first one was adaptability is a leadership superpower. Being able to change and move and go from situation to situation, that is absolutely phenomenal. Second, empowering your team builds stronger organizations. It also proves trust. And when you give that trust to your team, it creates such a buy-in and it'll give so much loyalty to you as a leader. Third, mentorship matters. This seems to be a common one that we hear from all of our leaders and how important mentors play in their role as leaders. 4, continuous learning fuels effective leadership. That you gotta learn. You gotta learn. If you're not reading and growing, as a leader, what are you doing? And 5, relationships are everything. Again, people, a lot of times people get jobs, people get whatever, they get where they are based on who they know, not what they know. Okay. And so listen, just like building a great team takes intentionality and precision, building a great space does too. That's why we're proud to be partnered with Hubbard Flooring Studios. If you're ready to upgrade your home or office with top-notch flooring and service, give Vicki and her team a call at 225-924-1582 or visit them at hubbardflooringstudio.com and make sure that you tell them Coach Clark sent you their way. Hey, remember, that's key. They do have special discounts for those of you who mentioned that me. And if you found value in this episode, remember, share this with a friend or a colleague who's passionate about leadership and growth. And then if you haven't done it yet, leave us a review, leave us a comment. Make sure that you subscribe and get those notifications so you never miss a conversation that could change the way you lead. And if you're ready to take that next step in your own leadership journey, connect with me on all socials at Coach A. Clark. Okay. I'd love to walk with you. And remember, you don't need to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So keep leading, keep growing, and keep innovating. Until next time, stay inspired and connected, and I'll see you on the next episode of Clark Connection Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Clark Connection Podcast, where my goal is to add value to you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow the show. You can also connect with me via my website, coachaclark.com, or on all socials at coach_A_Clark. The links are in the description. Huge thanks to my sponsors, Wayne with 7K Metals, Bobbie with the Comfy Quest LLC, Andrew with Automate Integrate Professional Services, Joseph with Landscape King, and Chris and Jess with CNJ Embroidery. We look forward to bringing you more great content. See you next week.